So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a very short span of time within 30 minutes because the idea is that you get to cover your current affairs on a daily basis. But we don't want you to spend your entire day just reading the newspaper. We want you to spend some other time for, reading other parts of your UPSC syllabus as well. Therefore, we will cover the entire day's current affairs within 30 minutes. But just watching this lecture would be done because just after watching it, you need to spend another 15 minutes revising this lecture as well. Why, you ask? Well, revision helps in consolidating these current affairs in your memory. Otherwise, you'll quickly forget them. Now, you can revise these current affairs from the notes provided by us, and these notes shall be shared on our Telegram platform. The link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section just below this video. All right, let's begin today's discussion. But first, let's take a look at the list of topics that we shall cover today. So here's the list. And number one among this list is National Critical Minerals Mission. The thing is that critical minerals, they are called critical for a reason. Okay, they're very important and India needs to ensure its continuous supply if India really wants to become Vikasit Bharat by 2047. So for that, we have launched National Critical Minerals Mission. So we'll talk about critical minerals and what this mission is all about in first topic. Okay. Then we'll talk about significance of Red Sea. Red Sea has always been the zone of geopolitical conflict. Well, Yemeni Houthis are there. They are bombarding ships crossing the Red Sea. Plus now, an ecological disaster. Environmentalists are warning that there can be an ecological disaster in this Red Sea region. So we'll talk about this. Then April 14th was celebrated all over India as Ambedkar Jayanti. Now, Dr. BR Ambedkar has a lot of contributions. He has contributed a lot to India's rise and India's development. But little known fact is that he has contributed in economic sense as well. We all know his social justice crusade. We all know about his contributions towards the framing of constitution. But we should also know about his economic contributions as well. So today we'll focus on his economic contributions. Okay. And number fourth, the oldest stock exchange of Asia. Yes, India, Asia, Bombay Stock Exchange has completed 150 years. So it was celebrating its 150th anniversary. So on that occasion, some few facts that you need to remember about Bombay Stock Exchange. So we will talk about this issue. Okay, so let's start discussing each and every issue one by one, starting with topic number one, which is National Critical Minerals Mission. So the Ministry of Mines released guidelines for setting up centers of excellence under National Critical Minerals Mission aimed at strengthening research and tech development. So basically, as the name suggests, National Critical Minerals Mission would promote critical mineral supply for India. Now, critical minerals their supply requires high-tech technology, high-tech mining technology and whatnot. So to do research and development, as far as these technological requirements are concerned, we are establishing centers of excellence. These would be institutions which would do research on the supply of critical minerals. Now, critical minerals are essential. Why are they essential? Because 21st century technologies would require these critical minerals. Okay, for example, we want to do clean energy transition. We want to shift towards solar, wind, electric vehicles, green hydrogen, right? Solar energy, wind energy, basically electric vehicles. Well, solar and wind energy require batteries for storage. Now, these batteries, some of them are cobalt, lithium ion batteries, some of them require cobalt. So lithium and cobalt are critical minerals. Okay. Similarly, electric vehicles work on lithium ion batteries and you require lithium for it. So lithium is a critical mineral. Without its supply, we won't be able to do this clean energy transition. We won't be able to do electric mobility. Most of the batteries of your phone are also lithium ion. So electronics industry is also dependent on critical minerals. And many defense technology, space technology is also dependent on these critical minerals. Therefore, their supply is critical. Hence, they are called critical. Now, these centers of excellence will focus on identification, development, and implementation of extraction. First of all, we'll identify where can we find lithium, cobalt, manganese, all these critical minerals. Then we will develop mines for it. Then we will extract them. Then beneficiation technologies. Beneficiation means that you basically the material extracted from ground, well, it needs to be processed. That is known as beneficiation. Now this also requires high tech technology. So all these technologies require a lot of research, right? So all this research would be done by these centers of excellence. Now you need to know a few facts about critical minerals. All right, so critical minerals are those minerals that are essential for a nation's economy. Now 21st century's economy in India is heavily dependent on electronics, right? And electronics require batteries require these critical minerals. So our nation's economy is dependent on it, our nation's security is dependent on it. Okay, so critical minerals are those minerals which are important for a nation's economy and security. Plus, their supply is crucial. It is vulnerable to frequent supply disruptions. Okay, so there are two qualifications for a mineral to be declared critical. Number one, it should be important from the perspective of security and economy. And number two, their supply is vulnerable to disruptions. Okay, these are the two qualifications for a mineral to be declared as critical. These minerals are essential for a wide range of technologies, industries, and economic sectors. Okay, I have given some examples before. Now, the thing is, every country has its own list of critical minerals. Okay, because there might be, for example, lithium. Lithium might be critical for India, but it might not be critical for, let's suppose, China, because China has, or Chile, okay, because Chile has huge lithium reserves. So for them, lithium is not that critical. Supply is not vulnerable as far as lithium is concerned for Chile, but for India it is. Therefore, different countries have created their own list of critical minerals. USA has a list of 50. Okay, Japan has a list of 15, 16. Similarly, an expert committee under Ministry of Mines has identified 30 critical minerals for India. So we have a list of 30. Clear? Which are identified as critical minerals. It includes lithium, cobalt, manganese, lanthanides and actinides, rare earth elements. Okay, all these things. Now, about this mission. So this mission was launched as per budget, previous year's budget. So this mission was launched in previous year budget, and it is being implemented by Ministry of Mines. The aim is twofold. First of all, exploration, mining, processing, recycling, securing supply chains for critical minerals. Okay, so that India has enough supply of these critical minerals. If India has enough supply of these critical minerals, well, India can achieve this target of net zero emissions by 2070. Because net zero emissions, net zero greenhouse gas emissions require clean energy transition, and critical minerals are important for clean energy transition. So if we are able to secure supply of these critical minerals, then basically we will achieve this goal. Now, we want to be self-reliant when it comes to supply of these critical minerals are concerned. So this is good for Atmanirbhar Bharat as well. Plus, this is important for energy security as well, because renewable energy, storage infrastructure for this energy requires critical minerals. Okay, so energy security. Now, what are the components of this National Critical Minerals Mission? Okay, so first of all, we will explore where can we find these critical minerals, and then we will mine them. Plus, most of these critical minerals are not found in India, they are found overseas. So mining companies in India, both public and private, would be told to acquire these mineral blocks in different countries so that supply is ensured. Then some critical minerals which are already in use in different batteries and all, when people throw away their phones, well, those critical minerals in those batteries should be recycled. So we need to promote circular economy. Then research and innovation through centers of excellence. Then we need to develop infrastructure also. For example, mineral processing parks, national stockpiles where we can store these critical minerals. And we need to train people also to be employed in this industry of critical minerals. Okay, so we have under this mission, we have opened training programs like academic courses, scholarships, and all that. All right, so this is all that you need to know as far as National Critical Minerals Mission is concerned. Now let's quickly shift to Red Sea. So Ras Hankorab Beach, a pristine spot on southern Egypt's Red Sea coast with crystal clear waters and flat white sands, is the jewel of Egypt's Wadi Al Gamal National Park. Okay, so this is the beach. Okay, this beach is a pristine spot. It is clean, clear waters, and it is the jewel of, as they say, Wadi Al Gamal National Park. But currently, Egyptian economy is going through a crisis of sorts, and they feel they can revive this economy through tourism. Now, Egypt has pyramids also, and people from all over the world come to Egypt to visit these pyramids. Okay, so tourism is a good area where Egyptian economy can expand. It's a good sector for basically allowing Egyptian economy to grow, right? Therefore, Egyptian government is doubling down on this sector. Apart from pyramids, Egyptian government also wants to develop sites of ecotourism, beautiful natural sites where people come to visit nature. So, keeping that in mind, Egyptian government is developing this beach for tourism. But environmentalists argue that if you will build infrastructure for tourism like hotels and all that, then it will destroy the fragile ecosystem. This beach is a fragile ecosystem. It is vulnerable to shocks, and it supports certain endangered species like turtles, coral reefs, seagrasses, fish. Now, if you'll develop this site as a tourism site, all these species would come under threat. So it can be an environmental disaster. This was what was in the news. But what is important for us to know is, what is this Red Sea that we are talking about, right? We need to have information about Red Sea because for the past 1 year, Red Sea has been in the news quite a lot. Therefore, chances are that it might feature in your prelims exam this year. Okay? So, about Red Sea, as you can see on this map, Red Sea is a sea inlet of Indian Ocean. So over here on this side is Indian Ocean. Indian Ocean enters this narrow path, okay, between Asia and Africa. This is Saudi Arabia, this is Africa. This is Red Sea. So it is an inlet of Indian Ocean lying between Africa and Asia. Which countries border it? Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Egypt, Sudan, Eritrea, Djibouti. Okay, Djibouti is a very small state over here. Now, its connection to the ocean, that is Indian Ocean in the south, is through Bab al Mandab Strait. So this is Bab al Mandab Strait, okay, and this is Gulf of Aden. Now, to the north, through Suez Canal, it is connected to the Mediterranean Sea over here. Okay, so to the north lie Sinai Peninsula. This is Sinai Peninsula, the Gulf of Aqaba. This is Gulf of Aqaba. This is Gulf of Sinai. And through Gulf of Sinai, there is Suez Canal, a waterway through which Red Sea is connected to Mediterranean Sea, and 12% of global trade passes through this route. Okay. Now, what is the significance of Red Sea? So, Red Sea is significant from two perspectives: economic, okay, strategic, that is trade-wise, and ecosystem-wise. 12% of global trade passes through it, linking Europe and Asia. Plus, this is a good tourism site also. Many countries around Red Sea generate a lot of tourism revenue on the coast. Through using the coastline they share with the Red Sea. Okay. Now, as far as environment is concerned, it is home to coral reefs which are resistant to climate change, and we need to preserve the species of these coral reefs. It hosts endangered species like hawksbill turtle, dugongs, one of the warmest and saltiest seas of the world. Witnesses red algal bloom. So you see red algae blooming. Okay, that is why it is called Red Sea also. And it contains hot brine pools and active volcanoes. So it is important from ecological perspective and economic and strategic perspective. That's it. That's all you need to know as far as this news item is concerned. Now let's move on to third topic of the day, which is about Dr. BR Ambedkar. So April 14th is celebrated every year as Ambedkar Jayanti, remembering the contributions of Dr. BR Ambedkar towards India's prosperity. But he not only contributed towards social justice or Indian constitution, his economic contributions are also immense, which are generally ignored. So we will focus on his economic contributions. All right. So Dr. BR Ambedkar's economic contributions. So as far as his contribution with respect to monetary policy, he advocated for gold standard in terms of exchange rate, deciding exchange rate between different currencies. He wrote a book, The Problem of Rupee, Its Origins and Its Solutions. Then he also talked about fiscal federalism, that states and center should share financial resources. His thesis, Provincial Decentralization of Imperial Finance in British India 1921, conceptualized financial decentralization. And based on this India, today we have Finance Commission, which decides how much money center should share with states. Okay? Then labor welfare, he worked a lot towards that. When he was the member Viceroy's Executive Council, Labour member of Viceroy's Executive Council, he introduced 8-hour workday, fixed 8-hour workday, maternity benefits, dispute resolution boards, employment exchanges. So he has worked towards labour welfare. Then some other contributions. He has talked about land reforms also. He proposed land distribution and separate settlements for Dalit to ensure economic independence. He also advocated for land nationalization, abolition of private property as far as rural land is concerned. He did that. Then for infrastructure, he spearheaded projects like Central Water Commission, Damodar Valley Project, Hirakud Dam. Then he worked towards modernization. He said that state-led industrialization should be there so that more jobs are created, and these urban jobs would break caste hierarchy, which is so rampant in rural India, because occupations are based on caste in rural India. But with urban jobs, upper caste and lower caste people would work together, so caste hierarchy would break. So we need to focus on industrialization, urbanization. Plus, he also warned against inflation. He said that inflation disproportionately affects poor, and therefore he advocated for a monetary policy that controls inflation. And India follows this monetary policy through its monetary policy framework of 2016. So these are his contributions. You just have to remember all of them. Okay. And now let's move on to last topic of the day, which is 150th anniversary of Bombay Stock Exchange. It is the oldest stock exchange not just of India, but of Asia. Asia was not used to this idea of stock exchanges. Well, Bombay led the way. So BSE Limited, Asia's oldest stock exchange, is all set to celebrate its 150th anniversary on April 17th. Now remember, it was established in 1875. Okay, 1875. Its original name was the Native Share. Native means Indians. Native Share and Stockbrokers Association, and Premchand Raichand, a cotton merchant, was instrumental in its formation. Okay, it began informally. It started way before 1875, but it was informal. It started under a tree near Mumbai Town Hall. Then it shifted to Dalal Street, its current headquarters, in 1874, and it was formalized in 1875, April 17th, 1875. Okay. Now, special features. It was the first exchange to be recognized under Securities Contract Regulation Act of 1956. It currently has over 5,000 companies listed on it. This is the largest in the world. No stock exchange of the world has around 5,000 companies. Now, it was an early mover to electronic trading system. Okay. It created a system in 1995 called BOLT, BSE online trading, and after that, Bombay Stock Exchange completely shifted to online trading. Okay. Earlier, the system was like open auctions. People used to shout, buy this share for 10 rupees, 10 rupees, 10 rupees, right? This was shouting matches were held at Dalal Street. That was completely shifted towards online. It surpassed market capitalization of 5 trillion. So all these 5,000 companies listed on Bombay Stock Exchange, if you add the market value of all of them, it's more than $5 trillion. That is sixth largest in the world. So it is the sixth largest stock exchange in the world. But remember, Bombay Stock Exchange is not the largest stock exchange of India. You have to remember, National Stock Exchange is the largest stock exchange in India. Bombay Stock Exchange is the oldest. Just remember this fact. All right. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. But like I say this every time when I end the lecture, it will add more value if you revise this lecture as well. Okay, so please do not forget to revise this lecture. And on that note, I'll be signing off with the promise of seeing you again with another set of news items. Thank you, everyone.